Hello, and welcome back to the Calm and Connected podcast. I'm your host, Janine Halloran, and this is the last in our series about perspective taking. So, one last anecdote about my family. So, this happened when my son was very little. We were all in the car. Apparently, I spend a lot of time in my car with my kids. It just happens, you're driving different places. You have to go to the grocery store, Target, whatever. I can't remember exactly where we were going this time, but I remember my son realized that he could see me in the mirror, and it was very cool. And then he asked, "Can you see me?" And I said, "No, I can't." He's like, "But why can't you see me? I can see you. Why can't you see me?" And I said, "It's because of the angle of the mirror, because the mirror is turned a certain way that I can't actually see you. The mirror is faced in such a way that I can see the people behind me because that's who I need to see in the mirror. And then it just happens to be at a great angle where you can see my face, but I can't see your face. I can see a little bit of your sister's face, but I can't really see you." And so then, I think we pulled in somewhere and I adjusted the mirror so I could see him in the mirror and he could see me. And we adjusted the mirror so both of the kids were in the mirror. And so it was really interesting for him to recognize and understand, I'm shifting the mirror, and that shifts the perspective. It shifts who I can see. It shifts what I can understand and what I can, what is visible and what is not visible, and that it's not static. It's not something that is unmovable, but it does change, and it depends on the angle of the mirror. So again, something just as simple as a mirror can be a teachable moment for kids. So the last game I want to talk with you about is a Lego build. So this is a 2-player activity. You want to gather up pieces and you want to make sure that you have 2 of each piece and then separate them into 2 different piles so they each have a set of identical Legos. And then one child goes first and they make a design. And this is the challenging part. Then they have to communicate with their partner about what their Lego creation looks like and have the other kid create the same Lego structure without looking at it. So just by explaining it or writing it down, however a kid can communicate that is how their Lego structure is built. And then they switch roles. This is a great way to work on really strengthening those communication skills and also taking their perspective, helping them understand, I made the creation like this, but I need to communicate it to this other person who has that same set of Legos. You have to think about how the other person sees the pieces. How are they looking at the pieces? Maybe you had them laid out in a particular way, but they didn't have them laid out in that particular way. So you have to think about what makes the most sense. How can you communicate effectively? How can you take the perspective of the other person and help them build a Lego structure? How can you accurately describe how to arrange the pieces? So it can be kind of fun to see. It can be a little bit frustrating. And again, it's just a perfect teachable moment. How do we work through this? How can we communicate? How can we think differently? How can we understand somebody else's point of view and use that to help them understand how we want them to create the Lego structure? It's a fantastic game for 2 kids. And you can do this in a group. So you could divide, if you had a group of 6, you could divide them up into 3 pairs of 2. Which is fantastic. Or you could, if you had a smaller group, you could do a round robin. This is one of the activities in the Social Skills for Kids workbook, all about helping kids learn how to take perspective. If you're interested in other ideas for helping kids learn social skills in a group setting, please check out the Social Skills for Kids workbook. It's available at encourageplay.com. If you like this podcast, please share it with your friends and colleagues. Please take a few moments to rate and review us. That's a great way to help us get found wherever you listen to the podcast. And one last thing, don't forget about yourself. Please take a few minutes for yourself and have a little fun. Have an awesome day.